the May 2nd, 2018 meeting.
I have a motion by Mark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Chuck and seconds it. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Financial matters, appropriation ordinance number 9.
I have a question. We spent, what, $6,000 or $7,000? Or was it maybe? I have to look at it and see. But for the chairs and the tables at the plaza, did we have to get new ones to replace ones already, or?
There's some that need to be replaced and some in addition, and we received some grant funding for that, so we'll reimburse that account.
Okay.
I have a question on check number 65571, mower and parts. I understand the mower, what's the parts?
Is that just the item count?
Well, I know it says mower and parts, so I'm thinking, what's the parts?
Probably,
It's not for that mower, just probably different.
that's just a classification for that account.
Oh, okay, okay.
Probably several different, maybe like oil change or
I just thought maybe it's needed parts already.
Sometimes we
No,
got
it
a
wasn't
weed eater
for
string
that.
out there, weed eater heads out there.
Okay, okay,
Two-cycle oil out there.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 9.
I have a motion by Mark, do I have a second?
A second.
Keaton has seconds, all in favor? Oh, further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Moving on to public comments.
My name is Dustin Curran, and I actually am here about the abatement law that's being processed and all you. I have had words with, can't think of his name. He does all the stuff for Bruno, sorry. And if I put a private property sign up, they can't touch nothing in my yard. Other than, of course, if grass gets over 12 inches and stuff like that, give me a letter. Now, that being said, they're still harassing me, and they are not tackling the other people who have grass over 12 inches. I can name one house down the block from me that is owned by the, from what my understanding was, that the city took over it because it was abandoned and they were going to do a tear down. They got a grant for a tear down. That was my understanding. I'm not sure on that, but it's over 12 inches. It's about my knee height. And I know of several other houses, but don't get letters. And they come to certain people they don't like, and then they'll harass them. So I actually had a word where I went as far as calling officers down yesterday. And they were the ones who told me to come to the meeting. I am listed as private property on the front of my house. I have one in the back too. Them threatening to come in the yard, tow a vehicle out of my yard is gonna put the city at a very high lawsuit because I am posted private property, no trespassing. If they are gonna go and enforce the abatement law, they need to enforce it on everybody, not just people they don't like.
Okay, Justin. I tell you what, we have a sheet, Amy, and he could give his telephone number, and this will be looked at, and you will be given a call back with an answer.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate that. Any other further comments? If not, Buddy Poppy Day.
Yes, sir. So, here's the proclamation I would like you to sign. Read it from there, February
Thank you.
Thank you.
Poppy,
The Poppy Day
Thank
is,
you.
May 25th. It is a National Day, Poppy Day, from the National Department of American Legion, American Legion. And, I would like to have it, so we can have it May 25th. It's a Friday before Memorial Day.
Mhm.
And I will be out at the Walmart Superstore from about 9 to 12.
okay,
And if any of the businesses would like to have some, they can just call me at 614-1156 and let me know how many they would like.
all right. And so, whereas America is the land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers, whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died on the field of battle, whereas a nation of peace must be reminded of the price of war and debt owed to those who have died in war, whereas red poppy has been designated as a symbol of sacrifice of lives in all wars, whereas the American Legion Auxiliary has pledged to remind American annually of this debt through the distribution of the memorial flower. Therefore, I, Sam Sacco, Mayor of the City of Concordia, do proclaim this date, what's this date? May 16th as Poppy Day and ask all,
No, no,
May
May
25th, I'm sorry, let me put
That's
that down.
okay.
May, my correction, May 25th
Yes.
as Poppy Day and ask that all citizens pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom of wearing the memorial flower on this day.
Yes. Thank you.
Appreciate your efforts as always.
I've been doing it for about 4 years now, so. And I've also been making keychains for every veteran that I need. I've been in the auxiliary for 8 years, and I've made it for the last 6 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appointments.
May 31st, Randy Greenwood, plumbing position on the Board of Building Trades will expire. He's expressed interest to serve another term. He's served about 3 terms now. And, you know, city constantly advertises for positions on various boards and commissions and committees and stuff, so, nobody's, it's a small field out there for this kind of thing, so I recommend you reappoint him for another 3-year term.
There aren't any term limits,
No.
are there?
Gosh, I wouldn't have a board if there was. I wouldn't have several boards if there was, I think.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to get people to do.
Yes, indeed. I'd move to reappoint Randy Greenwood to the Board of Building Trades.
I have a motion by Chuck. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Keaton, second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
It's approved. New business.
Mayor and Commissioners, before you is a request for a purchase for a new water cannon for the sports complex to replace the 2 that are out there now that I have it listed at 20 plus years. It's probably closer to 25 plus year old machines that just don't really run that well anymore. They don't wheel back in the hose, so a lot of times they have to do it by hand and then still can't get it all the way together. So,
Is there any
Questions?
repairs that can be done to that to?
not these. We've tried to track down the company, and they're actually no longer in business. The one that found, this one's out of Oklahoma, but they have a dealer out of Hiawatha. Is kind of the closest we've been able to find.
Is there, this is gonna replace both of them?
Yeah, there's a smaller one that they used to use for the peewee size, but
Uh-huh.
all that's irrigation now, sprinkler systems. And there's 3 fields out there that are left, and the little one that's out there is too small for those fields
Yeah.
to cover.
Okay.
And the bigger one's the one they use more, and it just, all those gears and mechanisms in there that reel it back up are pretty shot.
Did the high school have one of those? I thought the schools had, the school district had one of those for
I don't know.
one of their
I know
fields.
the college did, and theirs wore out a couple years ago as well, in
Yeah.
the same boat.
Okay. Okay.
Any warranty with this that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. I know Jared's been talking to them specifically, and that's kind of what they gave on the spec sheet was, you know, just that and the freight, which is them delivering was a big part of not continuing to look further out, just because of their knowledge and servicing availability.
I would think that there should be some type of a warranty on the equipment.
Mhm.
I think we should
Might be.
find that out if we can.
Yeah. I looked in that pamphlet for sure. I can double check on that though. You know, our long-term goal is to have all those fields sprinkler systems put in. They're all pretty much ready to go, but the timing frame and those 3 fields have to have water on them this summer, or they will be no longer available. So,
So this would be actually just used until the sprinkler system's put in.
yeah, but we're delaying that process now of putting the sprinkler system in because of buying. I mean, we're not going to put a new sprinkler system in on the fields the year after we buy this, say for instance, because that'd be a waste. But
Okay.
I also would think that I mean, that's not a small undertaking.
yeah,
I mean, that's pretty significant.
it's a fall project and maybe 1 field a year.
Yeah.
And this still doesn't slow us down for the K-18 field, which was the next in line. So it's got the second grass infield. So, and then this would be used for the remaining 2 big softball fields, if you will.
Okay. Any further questions?
Are we gonna find out if there's a warranty on this or?
I'm actually trying to find out right now on
Okay.
the website.
I can have him call in the morning too. Even talking to somebody specifically there.
I would, I guess there's no other alternative. We can't fix the old equipment. We can't, and we need to water the field some way. But I don't know how we would do that as far as I'd make a motion that we approve this, but I want to make sure that there's a warranty on it, if they'll stand behind that. I don't want to buy something that doesn't have, if they're not gonna stand behind it, then we should look for a different vendor or a different way.
Mark, there's a 1-800 number. I'm happy to step out. We just ask, we can get this figured out.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we table this then for a moment and let,
Yeah,
We'll move on.
that's fine.
is that okay, Chris? I mean, I agree with Mark. I think that, I mean, we can't
I
let
can
those,
dig into it real quick too.
yeah, we can't let those fields crisp up over the summer. We'll be talking about planting,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be
Yeah.
cost
Probably more
prohibitive too.
expensive
So,
than this.
I mean, we'll need to figure something out, but.
All right.
I'm surprised, I'm surprised that the high school didn't have a cannon on their football field. We sure don't need one.
They had underground sprinklers.
Do they have underground sprinklers?
They had,
Okay,
We use it over across from, middle school too.
yeah.
okay.
We used to have one out there when they used one on Moose Field, I guess they used to call it.
I thought you were gonna bring me something for the pool, Chris.
I was in the pool today.
How is it? Chilly?
No, it's 85. Nice and warm.
Got the new boiler.
Fair enough.
Okay, while that's being tabled, let's move on to ordinances.
Now we have to,
Second item.
Oh, second item,
Roof repairs.
approval of the roof.
Mayor and Commissioners, the pump house roof, I found out a week or 2 ago that it must have got held on at some time, but it started leaking inside. So I got a couple estimates on that, one from David Erickson for $7,574.40, and the other one from Geisler's out there for $8,250 to repair the roof on that. It's a flat roof, and what they're gonna mostly do is just go back in and patch it up and then respray it. And they're giving me a 15-year warranty on that too, so. They're gonna give a 15-year warranty.
And the insurance doesn't cover that?
I'm having Stacy check into that, and they haven't caught back to me, but I'd hate, I mean, what I wanna do is just get it done and then submit it to them, see if they'll pay it. The worst part of it is, she says we don't know when it happened. So,
Yeah.
and we changed insurance companies, when, 2013 or 14.
What's the deductible we have anyway?
Cheapers, I don't know, is it 1,000 or 2,000? I mean, we can submit it to them. I mean, the roof's no matter what I do, the roof has to be fixed.
Yeah.
Are both providers offering the warranty?
Yes. Scroll up there, look
I see it down there at the bottom, sorry.
there. Yeah. So, yeah, they are, I got apples to apples on these estimates here, so.
Well, we could almost go motion for that amount or less, depending if we get, the insurance will cover some of it.
Well,
Up
if we
to-
pay it and then we submit it to the insurance and they pay us
Insurance,
back,
okay.
whatever.
Pay us back net the deductible.
Yeah.
That's gonna, the biggest thing is they don't know when it happened. So they may want us to fall back on our last insurance company or something too, but how am I gonna prove it really? This puts me in
When was it first noticed that it was leaking, or has it been for quite a while?
probably a couple of weeks ago. That's when Jim told me about it. It's, the building where it was leaking at, we don't go in it all the time. And I mean, it's a flat roof, you can't see up there because there's no peak on it or nothing, so you really don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
we
a
had the hail
really
the
old
1st of
building.
May.
What's that?
We had a hail event the 1st of May.
This year?
I think so.
How old was-
This is prior to that. This is way prior to
How,
that.
how old was that roof? When's the last time it was fixed?
When did I do it? In 2009, maybe? 2009?
We should be
We,
able,
we had a bunch of hailstorm come through and we redid it in
Who
2000.
did it then, do you know?
I believe it was Geisler's.
Did they give us a 15-year warranty then?
I don't think so. I don't remember, but your insurance would be covering it then because that would be hail. The warranty is more or less to workman,
Craftsmanship.
craftsmanship and stuff like that. Yep.
if Geisler's did it then, scratch that.
So the damage was hail?
That's what David told me,
David Erickson?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
if it's hail damage, insurance will come out
Yeah.
and they look at what they actually, and you may very well may know too, but what they'll do is they'll take kind of a certain square feet on that roof, and they'll look to see how many little nicks they have from hail damage. And on, a lot of the times, if there's enough of it right there, then they'll just,
Yeah.
that's how they told that roof out.
So, but with that, then
But-
that makes me think that we need to have them come look at it before we redo it.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Yeah.
they'll give us a number too, and sometimes we can work with roofing guys, because we'll have a deductible.
Yeah.
So,
So I would, as much as we need to get the roof replaced, we really need to get the insurance company to come out and
Look at it.
check it out.
just need to get a little-
Okay, so I'll get ahold of them and.
Yeah.
Stacy do it tomorrow.
Have them come look at it first.
They're gonna have to.
I mean, they may come out and say the whole roof does not need to be repaired.
Be hard to do. when water's running
'cause of the-
inside,
yeah.
so.
Is there any way we can throw a tarp on it in the time being?
How big is that building?
It's probably as wide as this.
Oh,
Possibly,
okay.
maybe more,
I was thinking
and
it's
twice
maybe-
as, 10 times as long.
Small.
A shed of some sort that you can put
No.
a 40 by 40.
It was the old pump house where they pumped that down there, and we got a little sand in there, and a mixer in there, and forms in there.
Okay.
It's pretty good size. Plus, there's another little part that's got storage in it for compressors.
Is it
so-
damaged? Is the water damaging anything inside?
No, it's just running into our sand pit, but sooner or later, if I don't get it taken care of, you know, your
gonna
wrappers and
fall in.
stuff, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we'll definitely do something. We need to.
Let's have the insurance company look at it first, see what they say, and then
Okay.
make our decision based on that.
Yeah, but the problem on that is if we get them out right away, and so we wait for us to make the final decision, then we're waiting another 2 weeks. What concern do you have on that?
just gets wet.
Well, we can't go ahead and fix it, otherwise the insurance company has
No.
nothing to look at.
But I was thinking what we
Right.
could do is make a motion on contingency.
Okay.
That after after the insurance comes out, and if they say no, they're not gonna cover anything. And then you'd have the money, the contingency would go into effect,
Okay,
and then you can get it repaired right away. And then if they say, yes, we will do some, and then we can say, okay, and we can still go ahead and use the money, and then we get the money back from the insurance company.
so basically, you're approved doing maybe Erickson's upon the insurance company looking at it
Right.
and saying one way or another if they'll fund it or not fund it.
Right.
Yeah, because they just come out and
So a
say,
hypothetical motion would be, I would move to authorize the city to spend up to the amount of $7,574.40 following the bid of David Erickson pending review from an insurance.
And
or
an
insurance
insurance
adjustment.
adjuster for potential coverage.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if it is gonna be covered, they'll disperse half of, they'll do an estimate as well.
Right.
And then a lot of times, they'll disperse half of that money
Mhm.
to get
Pay the other
job
half.
going, and then
Okay.
Yeah.
maybe the rest when it's finished.
So then I would maybe, not that a hypothetical, but an actual motion. I would move to authorize the city to spend up to $7,574.40 following the bid from David Erickson, pending insurance adjuster review of the structure and any subsequent follow-through.
Sounds like a plan. Do I have a second?
No, second.
Keaton seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thanks.
Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
He didn't say 3 year when I talked to him. Okay. He's out there.
Distributors.
He's out there out of Iowa. I was able to get a hold of, Chris was able to find some stuff online. I was able to get a hold of the actual, I believe it was the national manufacturer. They have dealers all over the United States, and that's who this group out of Hiawatha is. They told me that there's a manufacturer's defect warranty for 1 year. And he said generally there's no issues. He said they've had very little need to even use that manufacturer's warranty, that he said they work really well. Mostly the issues that have come back have been an environmental error or environmental issues such as they've been left out and they've frozen, or it's been a user error. And then he wasn't sure about their service policy with the local dealer, but it looks like here Chris has found they'll repair and provide replacement polyurethane tube for any tube kid group. Determines has failed due to defects in workmanship or materials for 3 years from the date of the original invoice. So it looks like maybe they'll actually do, now this is gonna be polyurethane tube is what we're using.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the run out line.
Okay. So it looks like they were able to confirm with me, and it also indicates this 1-year warranty here from Micro Rain, which is the manufacturer. So it looks like a 1-year manufacturer's defect warranty, and then it looks like this KID group, or KID, whatever they call themselves, are gonna have a 3-year warranty on just tubes.
Where do we keep the equipment in the wintertime?
And that, well, it used to be a green shed, now it's a gray shed, right there by the parking lot.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
The extra shed.
So you bleed them all out and everything?
Blow 'em out.
Okay. Okay.
I'd move to approve the purchase of the water cannon from Valley Vet for $6,815.
It's actually not Valley Vet, that was my mistake, it's MWI Valley.
MWI Valley?
Same logo as Valley Vet.
Okay.
I have a motion
It's
by
not
Keaton, do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mark. Any further discussion? If not, all approved, say aye.
Aye.
All against, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving on to ordinances. 218-3136, zoning change on 305 West Fifth Street.
This ordinance comes as a recommendation from the planning commission. Kansas, application by Kansas Crossroad Resource Conservation and Development Area, Inc. for what they're calling a maker space. It's a place where people can have membership and have access to tools and craftsman type tools to do metalworking. Their first ideas of metalworking and fabricating. In fact, I visited with Barbara Henry yesterday. Phase 1 is gonna be metal fabrication and woodworking shop in the old, I think it was called Rug and Wrap, but at one time it was called the Floor Store. It's a carpet store down on Fifth and right next to Girls Body Shop down on Fifth
Okay.
and State.
Yeah.
Right across from the corner liquor and across from kitty corner from our parking lot and that.
Yeah.
But, and it, based on the fact that it's factory use and industrial zoning's right across the alley, it's not a spot zoning or anything, so it seemed like a no-brainer to give them some industrial zoning. And we got no protests. I got one phone call from a neighbor, 3 or 4 businesses away, just asking what it was all about. But nobody came to the meeting except for the applicant, so no protests, no.
Did your conversation with on the phone call, did that seem to provide whatever information they needed, and that seemed like a satisfactory answer to their questions?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what you're asking.
The phone-
person that called?
Yeah, was your answer, I mean, did they see?
Yeah, they just, a lot of times, they see zoning change, and some people don't understand. They think that you're zoning the whole block, or they wanna know why it was being changed, and who was requesting and what. They didn't know who that Kansas area, and that's kinda confusing. It's a long title, but, it's a not-for-profit, I think, and
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, it is.
looking to get, something like this started.
Yeah, just making sure they weren't still upset or agitated about it, more just asking information,
Oh,
and you got
no.
the
If they
information.
were,
you're
they would've
satisfied.
came to the
Fair enough.
public hearing, I'm sure, and they might even be here, or they could've protested.
Sure. Okay.
We have to wait after the planning commission recommendation public hearing, we have to wait 14 days before we can present it to you for that protest period, for people to be able to get their protest petitions in. And there's a very specific way you have to protest that. It's very detailed, and you gotta, both owners, if you got 5 names on the deed, all 5 names have to be on that protest petition, if you're a neighboring property owner. So, but yeah, this was no complaints or anything, just little information.
I'd move to approve ordinance 2018-3136.
A motion by Chuck, do I
I
have a second?
second.
I have a second by Mark. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
2018-3137, collection of debts.
As we were looking at the curb and gutter and sidewalk program and how much it had grown, we got to looking at what our means of collection were. At the same time, we're working with our current collections company who we don't feel is performing as well as they possibly could for us right now. So we looked at our ordinance here and we realized that we had a collections ordinance for collection of debts, but it primarily related to things such as collection of court cost. So we wanted to implement a way that we could also include things such as programs related to this sidewalk and curb and gutter program and anything else that we may implement in the future or that could fit the same nature of category. So what was added to this ordinance is that we are going to have a internal procedure that we're going to make a good faith effort to contact the people who owe us the money at least once a month for 3 consecutive months. After that, if they still don't attempt to pay or make payment arrangements, then we will send them to our collections agency. If that account is still delinquent after another 12 months, then if they're a property owner, we will add that account to special assessments. Unfortunately, we don't have that much of a far of a reach for those who don't own property. So for those who would participate in some sort of a program, which we know that the curb and gutter and sidewalk program, they can't if they're not a property owner. But let's just say we had some kind of a program where tenants could participate. If they don't own property, then we can't go as far as specials, and collections is our last stop. So tonight we'd ask for your approval for this ordinance to go ahead and implement a methodology that if it should come to that we do have a 3-step approach to be able to collect accounts receivable in essence. Are there any questions?
No, I think it's a very logical, very rational approach. I would move to approve ordinance number 2018-3137.
I have a motion by Chuck. Do I have a second?
I'd second.
I have a second by Keaton. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Resolution. Curb and gutter and sidewalk projects.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a resolution to approve 15 of the curb and gutter and sidewalk projects that we're getting ready to do. Just to tell you, we got 15 of them we're gonna try and do this year. I have 11 more scheduled for next year. And we didn't, like 11 of them didn't come in, but there's still people wanting it done. So basically this resolution's most likely just letting you know what we're doing there too. You got any questions on them?
Nope.
The only question I have, and maybe it's been explained and I just spaced it out, but what's the rhyme and reason between who gets chosen this year, who gets chosen next year? And I noticed there were some that weren't there wasn't a box checked either way.
The
Is
box, okay.
Like 2018 next in line, is it just the order in which they came in, or?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what we did. Whenever they brought them in, they was the first ones in line, so.
Fair enough.
And the school actually brought theirs in, and they got 2 major projects there. And it's gonna take quite a bit of time, because they're doing everything in front of the VOAG building, clear to Republican Street, from Cedar to Republican, and down Republican to the alley. So it's gonna be time consuming there, and we've already started over here in front of their board office, because they wanna put some fascia up there, and I gotta have some of the sidewalk done so they can do that. So,
And then the ones that are not checked, after they haven't got back.
right.
After
There's-
you send them, their cost.
Right. Like, I can tell you, like Chris and Shanna Huggins, I think he thought it was too much cost for him, because he just wanted a little bitty area fixed out there, so he said, I'm gonna tear that out and just do it myself. And Shane Hogg, he thought he could put it on specials. Well, you can't put it on specials, you gotta pay for it half up front, pay for that, so he ain't gotta do it.
Okay.
And, I mean, I believe in you, like the Dwaynes, I'm thinking it's just too much money for them or something. Because they had 3 projects there, and I went around and talked to them about it and everything. and-
Okay, that makes sense. I just
So,
was curious, kind of the.
They just haven't brought them back yet, the
Fair
ones that
enough.
ain't chalked.
Fair enough.
Okay, sounds good.
I move to approve resolution 2018-2070.
A motion by Mark. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Keaton. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thanks.
Resolution 2018-2071, unsafe and dangerous. 403 East 5th Street.
Got 2 resolutions coming up. 403 East 5th is a house that burnt in March of 2017. We never received any insurance proceeds off of it. And we're looking into changing our proceeds ordinance a little bit to make it a little bit clearer, and apparently I haven't looked into it, and I haven't even talked to Justin about it, but apparently there's a way to go back on an insurance company when they didn't provide proceeds to the community as required by state. So we'll be looking into that, but we never received any on this. I did talk to the owner of this several times shortly after it happened, and found out later that he did receive monies, and I guess just walked away from the project. I wrote him a couple of letters asking him what his intentions were, and that we couldn't let it sit there very long like that, and with no response. So I'm assuming he'll respond to this one. And so basically, this one talks about that. I don't think the house is savable. We're just, I tried to specify that it's just the house on this one that we're considering. There's fences, sheds, garage. It's in pretty good shape. We'll see what happens with the land after that. We're exploring, takings, which is a controversial issue, but got to recover costs somehow, sometimes.
So we would just tear it down and send the property owner the bill?
The way it works is we're on a condemnation, we remove it, and we have to put it out to bid. There's a long process. As you can see, we're setting the date until January 18th because of the process you have to go through, the 30-day wait after the last advertisement. And then if we get no response, we'll put it out to bid to remove. And I'm hoping we can get maybe two of them together and get a better deal on both of these. And then after that, we send the bill to the property owner. And if they don't pay within 30 days, then it gets put on specials. That's been our procedure in the past. It's actually a written procedure that Larry Urey did for me, so we can be sure and have all our ducks in a row. Because it's a very controversial thing to go tear down somebody's, condemn somebody's property and take their property from them. But we never have done anything to recover costs except that. And then 5 years later, it may go to tax sale and we don't get nothing. So we're exploring maybe, taking some of that, remarketing or land banking it for a while or something. So we'll see. We may end up mowing this thing for, I don't think we've done a nuisance on that one yet. So he's mowing it, apparently. The owner's mowing it, but.
Did you say he got money from the insurance company?
I found out just by happenstance who the insurance agent was, and I asked him about the project, and he says he's been paid in full, and that was a year ago.
Wow. So I guess then I'm a little confused. What can we do, you said, about the insurance company?
I don't know what the answer to that is. It's the first time it's happened to me. And I have to contact, I haven't even had the opportunity to talk to him about it yet, although we did talk about changing our ordinance because it's not specified in our ordinance that we're taking the full 15% of the payback. It says, the law says you can take up to 15%. If it's 75% damage of its fair market value, then we get 15% of the proceeds to hold for cleanup and removal if necessary, or to get it fixed up and habitable again, which we've done on several projects over the years that I've been here. But this is the first one I never received any money but maybe it wasn't 75% of its value, but it had to be. It almost had to be.
I don't know how it could be. I mean, that fire went through most of the house.
Yeah.
And with the way they put out the fire, I couldn't think that there'd be much left to put back from. But
I guess I'm confused on how we can go after the
Penalize the
insurance
insurance company.
when
Yeah, I
the
don't
insurance
know.
paid out.
I don't know.
I could see us going after him.
That's
Yeah,
that's a
if
lawyer
they-
question.
So essentially, if there is a law where they have to send a certain amount of proceeds to the city to hold, and they didn't do that, and that's an error on the insurance agent's part, we have a couple remedies here. One of the remedies we can do is, all of those folks carry E&O coverage, errors and omission coverage. Potentially, we can say, hey, there was monies that should have been given to us, we gave it all to the property owner, and now the property owner's got that money, has been paid in full, is doing nothing with it. Now we have a structure that's dangerous, and if they were supposed to pay us a certain portion of that, there is a possibility we can make a claim, because that's an error on their part against their errors and omission policy, and perhaps we can pay it. It just depends. We'll have
Yeah, I don't know
sit down and
how to
talk about it.
proceed on that. I really don't.
But it seems to me that that's while that's an important question to address, it doesn't change the fact that the structure is what it is and it needs to be
Yeah.
addressed,
We
which is
still
the
need-
process that we're talking
we
about
still need to get that
initiating with this, which doesn't mean that it's gonna be, once this ball starts rolling, it can't be stopped. If, there are steps along the way where the property owner can come in, they can do different things.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So-
he can, in fact, in the past, we've gotten this far, and then they come in and get on the demo program.
Yeah.
Because they know they're gonna get a bill for the total amount, and the demo program helps both sides.
Right.
It's, it's kind of a
Sure.
shared deal. So, we'll see. I mean, maybe it will, or maybe, I can't imagine that house is fixable at this point with all the rain and snow and.
Not after
I
18
haven't
months.
been in it. I can't go into them unless I get an administrative search warrant, which I've had to do in the past. And then you can go in it, but I imagine if you go in there, it's probably full of mold, and who knows?
So,
Hopefully there's not any bats in there.
again, I'm trying to figure out what the law thing is on.
On the insurance
On
proceeds?
the insurance, and is it a state law?
Yeah, there's a state law out there that requires a city, if a city wants to have protection against this kind of thing, they can send their policy, and it's an ordinance. And what it does is say that we have the power to pull 15% of the payback on a 75% damage. And this isn't not fire damage, it's any damage, windstorm, tornado, flood. And we send that to this, what's the state insurance person's title?
The insurance commission?
Insurance commission, and then they have that on file. And then the insurance company is supposed to know to contact the state insurance commissioner and see if what we have on file and what percentage of proceeds we are requesting. And in fact, I've had insurance companies call me after some damage to buildings and ask me for a copy of that ordinance. And then you just fire it off to them. But our ordinance as it exists now, it doesn't specify 15%, but when I asked Larry Erie about it back in the day when we were first doing this, he said, well, it authorizes us to take the full amount, which is 15% of the payback.
Well, is that something, though, that we should look at to change our
I
ordinance
wanna
to
clear
15?
that up. In
Yes.
fact, I have talked to Justin about that a while back, about clearing up our ordinance so that it's very specific. But I don't know about and I thought maybe in the ordinance we could have something in there that says if you don't follow this as the insurance company, here's the ramification. But I think it sounds like, according to other staff that we discussed in our department head meeting, there is a way to go back on the insurance company. They're supposed to know that. They're supposed to know to go check and make sure the city's covered for that type of protection.
That's
So,
an error on their part.
so
There's
we'll-
certain things they're supposed to do, and if they miss something, such as something like this, then this is,
But we did file on these properties with the insurance commissioner, right?
well, no, that's not something you file for each property. It's something you just file with the attorney general or with the commissioners, and they have it on file.
Okay.
Now, when if we redo our ordinance, we'll be sure and get that to the insurance commissioner, so they have the updated,
Okay.
ordinance on file.
Well,
So-
just on that issue alone, I think that's something we need to do.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I agree with you.
Well, I've called, years ago, I called the insurance commissioner, asked them a bunch of questions about that, and they were very, and they said, yeah, all we do is say here, yeah, this community has that. They get calls from insurance, I'm sure they have probably daily calls about that kind of thing all the time.
But this resolution is to specifically address starting, initiating the
This
condemnation
just
process for this specific property.
sets-
Right.
This declares it unsafe and dangerous and sets a public hearing date,
Okay.
and
I would move to approve resolution 2018-2071.
I have a motion. Do
A
I have a
second.
second? I have a second by Mark. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, 2018-2072.
Same thing, older house, it wasn't ever damaged, but it's not been habitable for as long as I can remember. There was about a year period where somebody was trying to live in it without any utilities. And within months, and Ron can attest to this, within months, we had multiple nuisance violations on it, and we're constantly battling the owners on it. And then they finally gave up and just moved out, I guess, but this was in a very bad condition. And it doesn't appear that bad in the picture, but if you drive by it, you
Yeah.
can see, and if you go
It is.
And on this one, I put the shed or the house and the detached accessory building in the back. The roof's completely caved in on it.
Yeah.
This thing here, and that'll be minor compared to that. But these kind of properties, the problem these properties have for us is they're usually tremendously overgrown. Along the fence line, there's scrap trees, junk trees. That's a very difficult thing to do. So if it comes to it, if we get it condemned at the public hearing and decide it's gotta come down, and what that'll be is an ordinance that gives the owner so many days to react, and if they don't, and we've done ordinances that gave them up to 180 days, we've done ordinances that given them 0 days. So basically, we can put it out to bid the next day if that's necessary, but we'll see what the owner says on this one. But if it gets to that point, then Ron and I are gonna go down and give a good look at the trees. We're thinking the fence line might even have to be removed. You know, it's just an old fence with just junk trees growing all over and actually.
Sweet.
But it's one of those things you don't really know. You know, the neighbors complain about the fence and the junk next door and the overgrowth, but is it really there? So I don't think it matters whose fence it is, and we just take them all out. But that adds cost, you know, you start removing especially larger trees.
Yeah.
You know, those are tremendously expensive to take down, so we might just leave a couple big ones or something, but those are some of the decisions you have to make on some of these properties, which could increase the cost of demolition tremendously in some cases.
Well, I went by it as well, and I mean, it looks like there are several open access points to the house, which I think, you know, as we mentioned with the house with the fire, my experience is once a house is exposed, it doesn't take long before,
Yeah.
I mean, it becomes cost prohibitive for rehabilitation. I mean, you're gonna
Yeah,
spend.
and this house here, you know, if you look at it.
Yeah, I kinda thought the same
The
thing. Well, there's
roof
salvage.
is actually in pretty good shape on this house, but everything else is.
It's got open windows and open
Comes through
door.
the siding, comes through the windows, the critters are in there. At one time, I can remember this was actually a dog house. There was actually a bunch of greyhounds living in there, and they had the yard fenced in about halfway, and the dogs were just using it for a dog house.
So do we
I'm-
know where the owners are on this
They're in
house?
Belleville currently, and the owners have changed since the last time I've
I mean, someone
looked
sold
at-
it
when
to
I
them?
summoned these people and talked to the actual original owner, actually called me up and said that he was deciding to condemn the house. He says, I'm moving out. He says, I'm condemning it. It's too much of a hassle. I can't get it happening. This was the guy that owned it.
Okay,
That was 3 or 4 years ago. Well, and I kept it in my mind, kept it on my list, you know, and we've done demo program stuff since then. And then I decided now it's fine, so I went and looked up the owner, because we have to write the owner a letter, and it had changed. And the owner's in Belleville now, different owner, so we'll see how they react, but.
I'll move to approve the resolution to 2018-2072.
motion by Mark, do I have a second? By Chuck, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Managers report.
Chief Foss couldn't be here tonight, and so he asked me to share with them about the May 23rd EMS open house that will happen. So you commissioners, you're all invited, bring your families. It'll be from 5 to 8 p.m. on May 23rd. Hot dogs will be served, there'll be tours, they'll be doing demonstrations of hands-only CPR, and there will be car seat checks. We did have one of our firefighter EMTs, Levi Whitley, did get certified for car seat checks with a class that we hosted here a couple weeks ago, so that helps us out all over the community. Also, we need to look at amending the schedule for our budget study sessions. We've had some scheduling conflicts come up since the last time we talked. We had originally had a budget study session scheduled for July 18th at 3 p.m., and that's no longer going to work that early in the day, so we're suggesting moving that to July 16th at 3 p.m. And then adding a study session to the regular meeting on July 18th, which would be another budget work session, and then keeping the 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock budget study session July 24th. So the only change is to move your 3 o'clock July 18th to July 16th at 3 o'clock.
July 16th?
Yeah, does that appear to work for everybody as far as you know at this point?
So that'd be your Monday, right?
Yep,
Yes.
it would be.
And we'd still anticipate ending by 5 o'clock at the latest, still limiting these to 2 hours apiece.
Okay.
I don't see that being an immediate issue, but I'm not the one that arranges our schedule.
You can
We're
do
all married men, I mean,
Yeah, I can do anything my wife tells me to.
Okay,
It works
so-
for me.
It works for me.
which I don't see any obstacles.
Keaton, you
Works good.
agree? Okay. All right, so we'll plan for July 16th, 3 to 5 for a budget work session. We'll add a study session to the July 18th regular meeting for another budget study session. And then July 24th from 3 to 5 for a budget study session as well. So, thank you.
Commissioners, report, concerns, whatever. Mark,
I have nothing to report.
Chuck,
Yes, sir.
Have we made any efforts to fix the highway as you come into town, right behind the corner of Winces and Woodwell? I know that's starting to get pretty darn rough in there. I've had quite a few concerns on that. People have addressed it to me. Yeah, at the bottom of the viaduct coming into town.
There's a place in there we need to patch it or something.
Okay, I just had quite a few people asking me about if there's something we could do. And another one was out on the south end at the stoplight right before you get there. I know riding a motorcycle, that's rough. You gotta go miss that completely.
But I do have a question on the railroad track out east of town, the one that's got the big dip. Where are we at with that? The railroads never did hold up their part of the bargain, is that correct?
I've been working with the railroad on that, and I got them to come flag traffic, and when they come in to mill this, up here by the college for me,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have them milled out away from them tracks about 15 feet to try to smooth that out.
Yeah.
The guy that I was talking to with the railroad, it's a Raphael Williams, he, told me that before they can come back and do it, they're on a schedule, and they're 3 to 4 years out, so I'm gonna mill it, and hopefully that helps it out. Cause it's almost a 6-inch drop
Yeah,
off coming in.
yeah.
They should have never done it that way.
Yeah.
So that's my remedy for now. But,
Yeah.
so,
I had made numerous phone calls to both of them. None of them returned. And finally, someone with BNSF, I believe, is that where Raphael's out of? Yeah. And then the Kyle Railroad. So finally, I got tired of doing that and started sending letters. And I'll be darned if the one from Kyle Railroad didn't get sent back. So I don't know if the address I got was bad, but it's peculiar to me that nobody wants to answer. But the letter from BNSF got there, I know that. So.
Interesting.
I have nothing. So move on to staff comments. That's good. Then do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a motion and second? Done.